welcome back to Accelerate and welcome to Luke's 331 brake horsepower Polo GTi.
Yeah, now this may look like a show car, but it's definitely not treated like one.
The Volkswagen Polo has been around since 1975, with the Mark I producing as little as 34 brake horsepower. Fast forward to what we have here today, the Mark IV Polo GTi, or the 9N3 as it's commonly known, and we have the GTi Polo producing around 150 brake horsepower, a heck of a difference. But this still wasn't enough for Luke, as his GTi is now pushing a dyno-proven 331 brake horsepower. The mod list is crazy on this, so I'll give you the highlights and I'll post the full spec in the video description. To get to 331 brake horsepower, this is running a K300 turbo, 3.5 inch decat downpipe into a Miltek 2.5 inch catback exhaust. The car has been mapped by Ben at Littco. It's running 17-inch OZ Ultra Leggera wheels wrapped in Nankang NS2R tyres, housing a set of Tarek's B30 6-pot calipers with 323mm J-hook discs which look fantastic, and is sat on BC Racing VM coilovers. I love the interior on this car. Now, I love a stripped out track car as much as the next person, but the Clubsport spec on this is just cool. We've got Corbo bucket seats with bespoke GTi tartan inserts with the contrast Luke harnesses, the Cooler Works shifter which looks amazing, and I love the general carpet finishes of the false floor and the rear seat delete. The whole interior is just such a nice place to be.
.330 horsepower these days, or 331 horsepower, unfortunately to a lot of people is not a lot, but a lot of people forget it's all relative. We are in a little Polo, and let me tell you, I've known Luke for a while now, and I've been itching to have a go with this car. So I can assure you, this is going to be an interesting one. So first of all, obviously I want to say a massive thank you to Luke, because this is a serious bit of kit. And although he hasn't had it long, he does drive it hard. He's literally just come back from a track day actually. So a massive thanks to him. Now Luke actually owns Velocity Tinting. So if you've got any tinting needs in the South Wales area, I cannot recommend him enough. He does all sorts, so fair play to him. And he's just a genuinely nice guy. So like I said before, if you're going to invest in anyone, make sure you invest in the right person. So one thing I have been curious for, he drove this up to Donington, which is a good 3-hour drive, and I'm sat in these beautiful Corbo bucket seats. They are fixed back, which is usually the less comfortable option. But he drove up there and he said it wasn't, it wasn't unbearable. And bearing in mind, he daily is an Audi A7, which is another beautiful car. But to be fair, with a car with this performance, it's definitely worth the sacrifice in the slight comfort. The suspension, as we're going over these horrible British roads now, again, obviously it's a bit jumpy, but not as harsh as I thought. But what I love with builds like this, I love stripped out track cars as much as the next person, but I'm getting old now. I like a bit of comfort, and what I like about this is purely the aesthetic of, I want to call it like club racer spec, where we've got beautiful bucket seats, almost like the focal point in the interior. Although the interior is stripped, it's got like the false floor. It's even got a compartment in the back for the helmet for when you do take it on track. The cage, everything on this car has just been done beautifully, and Luke will tell you himself, he didn't do all of the work. He said it's an absolute credit to the previous owner as well. So I've always wanted to drive one of these, and I really think we've got a good example here. The shifter, it's got this Cooler Works shifter, is as nice to use as I hoped it would be, and again, not the cheapest of options, but I can see why everyone goes for them. So yeah, I mean, it's a Polo, it's a bit stiffer than normal. The noise is, I love that it's quite subtle, the exhaust. I'm so grateful it doesn't pop and bang every time you go near the throttle. tell you, yeah, it drives quite nice actually, and for the power, it drives a lot more normal than I thought. I need to tighten this camera thing up, I do apologise. Oh, see, that was a bad bump then. Not horrendous, but what we're going to do now is just go straight into the pole because we're in a 330 brake Polo GTi. So what does 330 horsepower feel like in this little Polo? Holy crap! So this, Jesus Christ, that's quick. So this car still has an open diff, as evident by the, you can probably tell then. The one wheel spinning in second. So, where do I start? So, put my foot down in the lower RPM because I wanted to see what the lag was like. Obviously, you get a little bit of lag. The turbo comes in, so instantly it feels quite well mapped because the turbo just doesn't punch you in the face. It actually comes in quite linear, and when it comes in, obviously these tyres are cold. Oh my God. Yeah, the tyres are cold, so obviously it spins them up. But when it hooks, holy crap does this thing hook. Right, first gear is pretty pointless on these roads. So we're gonna go from second, going into a corner. So, as I've said, with open differentials, you will get, especially at this power, Jesus Christ, this thing's quick. You will get the inner wheel wanting to spin, and if you've got an LSD, it's a lot more forgiving coming out of corners. This, at this power with this diff, this is the definition of driving a car with your right foot. The traction control, because I've got it off, is now my right foot, and on these roads, you kind of need to be in second, so you're literally trying to keep this animal under control with your left foot, with your right foot, rather than the traction control. Jesus. So on a big open track, this thing's an animal, no doubt. On a big open track, it would be quite forgiving. You'd have a lot of control. Like I said, drive it with your right foot. On these roads, it's quite long gear, so you need to be in second. Throwing it through corners then, like I said, you've got to be so aware. If you just planted this thing in second and went for it, this car is going straight. So, like I said, you have got to control the throttle with your right foot. So, although not the fastest, it's one of those cars that really makes you feel like you are driving it. And let me tell you, you're that focused, it doesn't half get your adrenaline going. So, like I said, second gear, you get that lag, and then boom, wants to go straight. But third gear is where it's at in this car. You get third gear to hook, this thing just absolutely rips all the way to 7,500 RPM. Holy crap. This shifter is an absolute thing of beauty, I gotta be fair. Rev matching is nice and simple, it just absolutely clicks into gear. Tyres are definitely warm now, picking up all those stones. Luke, yeah man, this is an animal of a car. Like I said, I'd love to have a go of it on a nice open track. With traction control on, it's probably a lot safer, but I don't like driving with traction on because I don't feel like I'm in control. So we drive cars up here where you know a car's built for, they want to get absolutely every split second they can. To me, this feels like I said, absolute solid car, and it gave me confidence straight away, even knowing it's got an open diff. But to me, this feels like a track car with a bit of a crazy personality to it. It's designed to have a bit of fun.
Man, it's been a while since we've been in something like this.
Harnesses make me smile.
They really do, on that cage in the mirror.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, she pulls you around a bit, doesn't she? Whoa, man, this thing is quick. Jesus Christ, I just really looked at on the speed. It doesn't feel, like it feels quick, yeah, but it doesn't feel super quick. But I think it's the power delivery. It's so smooth. it's really linear. Like you said, you've got to really rev it out as well, which is part of the fun, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's quite long geared as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I said is mad on these roads, because you need to be in second, but
I was just going to say I better drop it down a little bit.
you've got to have testicles of steel to boot it.
Yeah, that's what you mean. This is nuts. Oh, it's capable, man. The turning feels brilliant, doesn't it? And the brakes, oh, I love brakes.
Yeah, see, it does feel.
Oh.
It feels planted until you come bouncing out of a corner and the inner wheel just starts spinning.
Yeah, it does lack the diff, obviously. Oh, the way it revs, I absolutely love it, man. It's on BCs as well, and yeah, come on, grip. Yeah. You see that one wheel just trying to peel in there, and it's just
Four tyres there.
yeah. Ah, do you know what? Though? The way it points and goes, like I sort of bounced into the corner then, and it sort of just bounced itself back in.
Yeah.
It's
I think you get used to it quite like you get used to it quite quick.
I was when you were saying to me on the way back, obviously you were doing it first, and you were like, you got to really have the balls of steel to keep it pinned. And I honestly thought, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So often you say stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I thought, all right, I might hold back a little bit, but nah.
There's something about it that makes you.
It gives you the confidence because it's so well planted.
Yeah.
And like I said, even on the way down, I could feel the brakes. The steering response, I got to be honest, is absolutely superb. NS2Rs, I always rip on.
Yeah.
They seem to work on this.
Yeah. It does come down to application, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Some cars, they just. Forgot which pedal it was.
Yeah, actually, no, I hit it so close together. I hit the brake as well as the clutch. Yeah. Look at it, just trying to
like a scolded rat, isn't it?
It really is. But like I said, those tyres, I always hate it. Like I know I'm just repeating it, but they really, really do work on this car. I've run them on maybe 3, and they just did not work very well on that.
On my MX-5, like, I always said NS2Rs on lower powered car. Like on my MX-5, when they had a bit of heat in them, they were great because you're not running stupid power through it. I was a bit not concerned, but I was a bit like, oh, what are they going to be like on here? But now they got a bit of heat in them.
Now, I've never driven a Polo GTi, even in stock form or anything. Yeah. And I got to be honest, I know we've driven Golfs and stuff as well, but I think this is a better package.
Yeah, like I love smaller, lighter cars. So yeah, this for me, it's hard because then I'll jump on a Golf and be like, God, these cars are amazing.
You know what, you're right. You're probably right. It's the adrenaline on the day. But
yeah, and it's all relative. If you need the bigger practicality, go for a Golf.
100%. They're not a bad car at all.
Like, yeah, like Luke bought this. Luckily, he's got a daily. He uses this as a weekend fun track car. I would go for the Polo as well because you've got basically all the same stuff but in a lighter package, so more capable. So.
And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because we sat so low in the seats and the harnesses and stuff, but it feels quite big in you.
It does, yeah.
It really does. I feel small in you, like, doing, and that's saying something.
That is saying something.
Yeah, well, all right. But no, I got to be honest. I knew you've been in it before and you were saying this, it's a really, and I was like, you know, we've driven bad cars, and sometimes, and no disrespect to bad cars, they can be boring because they do everything really well. This has got all the drama, but it's also got what you sort of expect. It's got the quality. It's got the quality feel of the whole car, but it's also got the drama. And that's why we love the front wheel drive version, like with the Golf R, the Golf GTI. We prefer the GTI because it gives you that thrill.
Well, I've always said, if this is the first video you're watching, we've said it many a times, know what you want from a car. If you want lap times, get the 4-wheel drive. If you want to feel alive, get anything VAG front-wheel drive as opposed to 4-wheel drive. That's my takeaway from every VAG car we do.
I totally agree with you, because people have disagreed with us and said, how can it be too good? You know,
that's stupid.
Go drive one.
We've had loads of people agree, so I'm glad that there are people out there that understand it's not all about if you can shave 0.3 seconds off your 0 to 60 going G. No, sometimes people want to have adrenaline-filled fun in their car, and that's what the front-wheel drives do for me.
100%. Especially, I know you said this road, obviously with this car, is a little bit
terrible. Really.
It's terrifying. It is.
Yeah,
not terrible. It's terrifying. So, but no, honestly, man, what a wicked car. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Even if the pedals are close together and I keep hitting the brake at the same time as the clutch.
That was Luke's batshit crazy Volkswagen Polo. So like I said, 330 brake these days to the internet kids is not a lot. But in this, I mean, you use all of it and it can be quite terrifying.
Yeah, well, say, the mint with a hole, it's small enough to have enough fun, but also big enough so you can, if you didn't have a cage and stuff, you could still use it as a family car.
Yeah, like I said, I just want to say a massive thank you to Luke again for just chucking us the keys. And he's one of those that's just basically like, you won't drive it harder than me, so.
He kept saying, you know, when it revs up, it doesn't go to the rig, just keep going. So it's,
yeah, I kept shifting at 6.5, and he's like, no, go to 7 at least. Yeah, so we're always so grateful. Like I said, we pride ourselves on respecting the cars and stuff like that, until the owners tell us to go and beat the crap out of them.
Yeah.
But no, I sort of say, so grateful that we get to experience cars like this and bring you guys along.
Yes.
So yeah, until the next one, thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We will see you in the next one. Woo! I'm going to go on auto trader now, I think.
It's been a while since you said that.